Spring Boot at conditional on property explained like real projects. Imagine you're building a Spring Boot application. You have an email notification service, an SMS notification service, and a WhatsApp notification service. Now here's the challenge. Different clients want different notification methods. Should you create all the beans every time the application starts? Not really. This is where at conditional on property becomes incredibly useful. It allows Spring Boot to create a bean only when a specific property exists or has a particular value. Think of it like a smart switch. If the switch is on, Spring creates the bean. If the switch is off, Spring ignores it. No code changes, just configuration changes. That's the beauty of at conditional on property. Let's understand this with a real example. Suppose your application contains a property, notification.service email. When Spring starts, it checks this property. If the condition matches, it creates the email notification bean. If the value is different, the bean won't be created. Imagine a restaurant. Customers can choose vegetarian or non-vegetarian meals. The kitchen prepares food based on the selected option. Spring does something similar. It creates beans based on configuration values. This makes applications flexible and easy to maintain. Now let's look at the important attributes. The name attribute specifies which property Spring should check. For example, name equals notification.service. Spring will look for this property in application.properties or application.yml. Having value. The having value attribute tells Spring which value should match. For example, having value equals email. The bean will only be created when the property value is email.
Prefix. Instead of writing long property names repeatedly, you can use a prefix.
For example, prefix equals notification and name equals service. Together they become notification.service. This keeps configuration cleaner. Match if missing. This is one of the most interesting attributes. By default, if a property is missing, Spring does not create the bean. But when you set match if missing equals true, Spring creates the bean even if the property doesn't exist. Think of it as a default option. If the user doesn't choose anything, Spring still knows what to do. So where is at conditional on property used in real projects? Feature toggles, environment-specific configurations, third-party integrations, payment gateways, notification systems, microservices. Spring Boot itself uses this annotation heavily inside its auto-configuration mechanism. Imagine your application supports both Razorpay and Stripe. For one client, you enable Razorpay. For another client, you enable Stripe. Instead of changing code, you simply change a property value. Spring automatically loads the correct bean. That's powerful. Let's quickly summarize. Without at conditional on property, all beans are loaded, more memory usage, less flexibility. With at conditional on property, beans are created only when needed. Configuration controls behavior. Applications become cleaner and easier to manage. So remember this simple rule. If you want Spring Boot to enable or disable features using configuration instead of code changes, use at conditional on property. It's one of the most powerful annotations for building flexible, production-ready Spring Boot applications. And that's why every Spring Boot developer should understand at conditional on property.